Kathy will join us soon, and I also asked, there's Kathy coming in, so hopefully we can get Fran on as well very shortly.
Okay, finally, and the mayor, I think, is just getting ready to link. See if I sent it to her as well, Cindy. She goes, oh, I have to register. I said, yes, we have to register. Cindy sent us through a different format, so I think she should be coming on. I don't know why today was so difficult.
Post full moon.
I guess so. It's a carryover, Jamie. You just jinxed me.
Yeah.
And I have started the live stream for anyone who's watching on YouTube that wanted, just so that they're aware that we're having technical difficulties.
Yes. Okay. Madam Mayor has the resolution and everything ready to start. See if she's got in.
I just looked at the list of attendees, and Frances Smith is listed as an attendee,
Yes.
not as a panelist.
No.
Oh,
that's
okay. So I can.
That's how
I'm
her.
gonna
Both
promote
had to
her.
go in and register.
I've promoted her to a panelist. I didn't see her in there, so thank you for mentioning that. There she comes.
There she comes. Yeah, she should. Because mine, I had to register.
I had to register. I hate technology. Can I scream now?
No,
No.
we're live.
I still hate technology.
And I said, well, Madam Mayor has the resolution and stuff, so she'll be.
That was wild.
Yes, it was. That's the first I've had problems.
Again, we've got to send the link the day of the meeting, not a week before or even 3 days before.
Ironically, I sent out a link to everyone about 10 minutes before the meeting started, but apparently some of you weren't getting them. I don't know why.
No.
Emails it's slow today.
Jamie said it's because of the full moon.
I wonder if Bill's having trouble.
Maybe he's still pulling that guy out with the skidder.
All right.
Want me to call him?
Sure.
I'll send him an invite as well in case he's having issues.
Okay.
I wonder if he thought it was at 1:30.
Oh, maybe. Hello, are you having trouble getting in? It's at 1. Okay. It's 1. Okay, bye-bye. He
Yeah,
thought it was 1:30.
Yeah, 1:30 Friday, but 1 today.
Yeah. And Cindy.
Sherry got that on the bingo sheet.
Got Nikki and Elwin.
Yeah, they're on.
Well, I better wear my
So
Maple Leafs cap for Bill.
I don't have Cindy Kelsey on. I resent the invite to her, but I don't see her on yet.
Okay.
I actually didn't have any trouble getting in today for a change.
Isn't that something?
Yeah, I know. It's odd. Every day I have internet problems. Touch wood. This is the best day I've had in the last 2 weeks.
Oh, that's good.
Perfect.
No idea. I lodged a complaint to my service provider, and lo and behold, I've had really good internet today. So I don't
That's
know.
nice.
Maybe that probably does better than rebooting my router, I guess.
There's Bill.
Yeah, I'm here. Can you hear me?
Yeah,
We can hear you.
Yeah.
I can't see you.
Anybody,
There you
does
are.
anybody have Cindy's number handy to call her? She may think it's 1:32.
What, somebody at the office decided not to eat?
I don't know.
Lunch is 12 to 1, Bill.
Not at 1:30.
When I was mayor, lunch was 11:45 to 12, and then you answered the phone for the next hour.
I wore this for you, Bill.
Oh, did you see what they did in Toronto or in Edmonton the last 2 nights?
Yeah, stayed up and watched it last night. It was a good game. But Wednesday night will be good. There was a little bit of anger at the end of the game last night. I don't know what you saw it or not, but it's may hold over till Wednesday.
Are you one of these guys that watch a hockey game for the fights?
No. But tempers were a little bit hot and heavy there at the end.
And I tried Cindy's home number and there was no answer.
All right, well,
All right.
let's call the meeting to order. And our first item is approval of the agenda.
Also move.
Moved by Brent and seconded by Sherry that the agenda for the special council meeting held March 2nd, 2021 be approved as presented. Are there any amendments, Kathy?
No, none.
Okay, all those in favor? Carried. Is there any disclosure pecuniary interest and general nature thereof of any item on today's agenda by any member of council? Seeing none, we'll note that in the minutes. And business, questions and follow-up from our last budget meeting on February 26th. Michael?
Okay, Madam
Yes.
Mayor, I'll just make mention that we have the Deputy Treasurer, we have Amy, or not the Deputy Treasurer, but we have Amy Rogers on. So she's getting to understand about the budget process. So I just wanted to let council know she is on, so she can understand as well.
Welcome, Amy.
Good afternoon,
Okay,
Kathy speaking.
So we made a number of some small changes. So I did change the Firehouse software to Crisis. I did some inquiries, Councillor Dewey, about the column and row numbers appearing. I would have to export it to Excel and then print it out that way. So I will do that for next time because it is easier for everybody to reference. So I apologize for that. It doesn't, in my mind, print out as nice as the PDF that you're seeing right now, but it will certainly be easier for everybody to reference. I would also, there's another way to set up the printout so that each category starts on its own page. So I think that'll make it easier in the future as well. So I'll make that adjustment. For Councillor McDonald asked a question about Aon and fleet insurance. So we are already getting that preferred rate. So next one. I think here. So we did move Zealand Road over. We'll see that when we go through the version to version adjustments. So I won't go any further with that right here. I did make a bunch of new sub departments. So broke out Memorial Park expense, the Olden Settlers Monument, and the what's the other one here? Septic Part 8. So we'll see that when we get in there as well, that there are $0. I did have 30,000, and I think it was just because of a reconciliation concern that maybe we never estimate the right dollar amount and there'd be some billing at the end. And it's felt, and it is in the reconciliation process, it would be a year before we'd actually have to pay it. So if there was a dollar amount owing, we don't technically have to pay it till 2022. So the 0448 Part 8 septic system department or sub department is set up, but you won't see a dollar amount in it here. Yeah, I think that's all the notes that I wanted to go through. I don't know if council had any questions first before we go to the version adjustment.
were there any questions that Michael hasn't covered? Bill?
Yes, through you, Madam Mayor, to Michael. The numbers you presented to us in the draft budget of being a total assessment or the proposed draft budget coming in at 2.84%. Is that only our Central Frontenac portion of the tax increase?
Yes. Through your worship to Councillor McDonald, yes, it is, because that's the only portion that we control.
No,
Right.
but Michael, it's on the back though, tells him where the actual percentage is for our tax, which includes the tax rate, which includes the county and education. The point, I guess, was what, 1 point something at the time?
Oh, I see what you're saying. Okay. We are at, oh, I can do it as I moved it now, so just a second. The overall tax rate right now, so this is kind of jumping ahead a little bit. I plan on going through the version to version adjustments and showing council the net different. Cindy, can I share the screen? I guess I've got that down there. Sorry, 1 second.
Yes, I've made you the host and you should be able to share the screen.
Michael, you could just go on the 2.84, what we had in the last one.
Yeah,
And
so
on the-
so that, sorry, Kathy.
And on the
That
back
levying-
of that, so on the back of that sheet told us that it was county and education and everything.
Yes, and that's what I'm trying to get to, and thinking of our lovely mayor and technology and how much fun it is sometimes.
Yeah.
So what is anybody seeing right now? My kids or Excel?
Excel.
Okay, perfect. All right, so here is the levy increase, which was 200 and something. I don't have it in front of me right now, but it was a 2.84 levy percentage increase, is now 1.51 after the adjustments that we've made in the version to version report, which you'll see shortly. It is a 0.3% tax rate increase, which is $4 for every 100,000.
That's better.
And that includes, as I said, that includes the county, the education, correct, Michael? And
The
our,
0.3% and the $4, yes, but not the levy up above.
correct, okay.
Okay, so we got to the net result. So let's, if we're okay, Madam Mayor, to move forward to the version to version adjustment. Okay.
Yes, I think so, unless somebody else has a question or comment. Okay, I don't.
Madam
hear any-
Mayor, it's Victor.
Oh, go ahead, Victor.
Yeah, I'm not sure if this is the right time to bring it up, but in our last council meeting, we had the request from the Kennebec Trails group. And I don't know where that has been, or whether or not that has been considered in this budget.
There's grants to others, Michael, am I right? Or is it under recreation?
Well, actually, just because of a feeling that I thought we might have future requests and to track it separately, I did add a department for the Kennebec Trail Committee, and all 3 of the requests are in there currently.
Okay.
Thank you.
You're welcome, Councillor Hayes.
All right, so let's go then with the continuation of the budget.
Okay, so try and make this a little bit smaller. Can't make that bigger. Can you see that, Madam Mayor?
I can see that, yes.
Okay, so what we have here is a net reduction of $118,000. Initially, for the communal services grant, I had 30,000 coming out of reserves under corporate services.
Did you change
that-
the page, Michael?
No,
Can
Michael.
I change?
Sorry, Michael, we've got the Excel spreadsheet up still.
Yeah.
Oh, Cindy. Just a second. Here's the meeting controls. All right. Don't want that. Cindy's coming over to help.
Michael, when you're searching that through you, Madam Mayor, do we have something in this budget for the old library in Mountain Grove?
This is the screen that you're sharing.
It would be under facilities that we covered last time, Bill.
I was looking for it and I thought I saw 2 numbers for the library in Mountain Grove.
This one. But I have to keep changing it.
Kathy, do you know, is there something in there for the
That's what I do.
library?
So that's why I was confused.
Not that I'm aware of, but Michael may be able to say a little further. I know Andy will be
Yeah,
coming
so-
forth with a recommendation and certainly a report to council of surplus buildings.
Okay, there, we've got something else up, Michael.
There is a small amount in there for, just for maintenance to the building.
Right, that's what I thought. It's nothing major though, is it?
No, it's probably $500.
Right.
Something
Okay.
like that.
Perfect.
Okay.
All right, I'm somewhat back on track here. Now you're looking at my FMW screen.
Yes, we are.
Okay, so this is the version to version adjustments report. You can see we have a net decrease from the initially presented. The first column is the department submission, council review. These are the changes that we've made in this column here. So we have a net decrease of 118,000. This 30,000 here is related to the communal servicing system, which I already mentioned, that was coming out of reserves. This 30,000 decrease, and I can click into them, I just don't want to overwhelm necessarily, but it's related to the septic re-inspection that I pulled. I had initially had that 30,000 for the part 8 in the septic re-inspection section. So that's now pulled out as well. And then facilities, I'm going to remind myself here. Okay, so we had the 33,300 increase coming in as a revenue since we got that grant information the other day. This is where you'll see that I did add Old Memorial Park on its own budget line.
500.
Tell me if I'm going too fast, please. And then I also added Crow Lake Dock in its own section as well to make it easier. And I threw in $500 just as more of a placeholder. Andy, I didn't get a chance to discuss with you yet. If we need to increase that, then let me know.
Can you just increase that font size a little bit, Michael? Or can you update? It's kind of hard for me to see here.
I'm not sure how right now.
Okay.
It's not like the PDFs I can scroll. So I could print this PDF quickly and then scroll and make it bigger if that would be easiest. But the one advantage, of course, of being able to drill in here right now, I can't do that in PDF.
Okay, Michael.
Let me.
You just got to get the computer closer to you, Tom.
Did he? Oh, yes, he did remove the Toronto hat already. That's good. You see better. Okay, so we did move one of the tandem trucks to 2022. So that's 300,000 right there that's highlighted. And then road projects, we moved the single surface treatment to 2022, as well as the Crow Lake Road Village to Boundary project. That was one that was just left over in a previous year and we didn't move it over. And then Zealand Road, we had also moved over to 2022. I then offset the loan down from the original 3.4 down to down by 1.298 to a loan of 2.1 million, which we would still take over 10 years. So that all comes, I can't see it because of my screen sharing button, so I'm going to bring this up. Those are the changes that have been made to date to bring us down the 118,000 to the 1.5% levy increase. Are there any questions?
Okay, no questions?
Okay, so
Okay,
the other, let me just do this for a second. Insert. Okay, so Madam Mayor, I believe you wanted to look at this. So
yes,
this would be the loans report that I normally present to council to say where we're at. So trying to think where to start. Ultimately, you can see the different loans that we have here that we are already committed to. We have our monthly payment amounts, our yearly payment amounts, and then we have our annual debt repayment borrowing limit of 1.9 million. We currently have balance of the limit is 1.3. So we're at 32% of what we're able to borrow. With the reduced loan, we would be at 44% instead of the 53% that we would have been otherwise when we started out with the $3.4 million loan. So it's certainly in a better position. But those are the figures. That's where we're at right now.
so 2023, we have two big loans that will be satisfied.
Correct. This was essentially one loan. We just split it between the departments. But yes, in 2023, that will be done. 2029, the medical center and the solar loan will be done this year.
Okay. So the
And of course,
largest one is the 2031. What's that one for?
well, this is the loan that we're proposing right now in the draft budget, and it's being paid back over 10 years just because of the size.
Okay. Any questions or comments on that? Just good to know where we're going to be able to breathe a little bit as we go down the road, if we stay the course.
Yes.
And nothing falls apart that's too expensive to fix.
Madam
Okay.
Mayor, I just have a quick question and not really bearing on any of these numbers, but Michael, they all have different interest rates and they all have different principles and amortization. Have we ever thought at some point in time just kind of taking advantage of where the interest rates are? And again, I have no idea whether or not this would leave us in a better situation, but strategically paying off some things early, getting those numbers at a lower interest rate. Is there an advantage to that, or should we just simply just stick with what we have now, and that would be the better course?
6 of this, half dozen of that from Madam Mayor to Councillor Cameron. We just looked at that for the medical center loan. That's the paper I had in my face. I'm starting to do this a lot. So we have, that's being renegotiated this year on another 5-year term. The interest rate, I believe, was somewhere around what's acceptable right now, obviously 2% approximately, which is a lot lower than what we had at the last time at 4.08%. I believe it was $4,000 or $5,000 that we could save, I think, in the end. It wasn't huge. And then it would deplete our reserves or raise taxes that year to do it. So it's, honestly, I'm still sitting on that one, and I may come to council with a report later and say, you know, this is what I think we should do. I just didn't want to rush into it. But it's certainly something that I would consider each time. All of our other loans right now are at a fairly low interest rate. But yeah, 1.74. I'd have to work out what the exact differences would be. I mean, most of them now are with Infrastructure Ontario, so I could check with them.
You wouldn't have a penalty if you paid them off early, would you? Or anything like that, Michael?
It's something I'd want to ask. I'm not 100% sure, Councillor Dewey, through Madam Mayor. I don't believe so, but right. I'm not 100% sure.
Yeah, it's kind of, it's better to extend it over the life of the loan so that everybody shares in that repayment than to try to. Go ahead.
I'm sorry, I interrupted you, Madam Mayor. Finish, please.
That's okay. Go ahead.
I know that's one thing you do, like the medical center loan was taken over 25 years, and I can certainly see that point. But 6 of this, half dozen of that again. If we're not billing taxpayers for the loan plus the interest that we're paying, then we're going to be raising taxes for something else. Like one way or another, like education and kids, whether your kids are in school or not, you're paying your share. So I get extending it. I just hate that interest cost at the end of it. If we can build up our reserves, borrow from ourselves, I think it makes a lot more sense that way. It's just obviously the bigger loans we can't. And if there's a grant that we need to, or can take advantage of, then absolutely, let's take a loan for our portion. It's just strategic. I'd like to be a little more strategic.
Through you, Madam Mayor, Bill here. Michael, the medical center and the solar loans are basically, are they not self-serving? In other words, do the rent or the income from those not pay most of the loan off?
Through your worship to Councillor McDonald, the solar loan, yes, is paying for itself now. It's been obviously a number of years to get there since it was taken out in 2011. And the medical center loan, no, right now we charge $18,600, I think, a year for medical center dental rent. And the yearly payment for the loan is $33,000.
So about 50%. Yeah,
it's something.
Yeah,
but certainly.
The other loans are basically, we're carrying the full amount, and for public works equipment, fire department, those loans are for new equipment, which at the moment you buy them and start paying for them, they start depreciating in value. So the solar and the medical, I think, are ones that I can live with quite nicely. So even though one of them is going to be paid off, next year, and then the year after that, there's also. So.
Right.
Okay, let's move on then.
Okay.
What do we need to do, Michael? Certainly the numbers that you've ended with looks like it's quite acceptable to the group.
I'm through you, Madam Mayor, Bill here. I'm just trying to get a grip on with the reductions and stuff. What did you say the proposed draft budget would be at right now then?
through your worship to Councillor McDonald, right now we are at a 1.51% levy increase, or adding $134,000, which really is, in my mind, due to the new assessment from building, for the most part, other than maybe 20,000. It's a point, and so I didn't update these numbers, so please ignore that highlighted for a second. It's 0.3% tax rate increase and $4 for every 100,000. Okay.
Which is very good numbers. And with it being a COVID year, I'm sure that the residents would appreciate that.
Yeah, I think it's certainly a very reasonable number. It is done at the expense of taking out loans, but those loans are allowing us to buy equipment and whatnot to deliver the services to the residents. So, yeah.
The only other thing we could do is cut services to cut the budget more. And that's I don't think what residents want.
No, it's either pull from reserves, take out a loan, raise taxes, or cut service levels, as Tyson keeps reminding me.
Yeah.
Yeah, and also too, just to remind council as well, actually with that percentage of tax rate increase, we're lower than the rest of the Frontenacs.
Oh, yes. May I go down that rabbit hole, Madam Mayor?
Sure.
Okay. So obviously we compare ourselves to others. We need to try and do apples to apples. So I just did a little bit of analysis, and per $100,000 in assessment, we are higher than North by $224. We are higher than South by $292. If we took the municipal levy divided by the number of households, and obviously each household won't pay the same amount, but we are at $1,770. North is at $1,707. And South is at $1,887.62. So I just thought it was quite interesting. So sorry, I will bring a picture over. So this is the taxes per household. The municipal levied taxes, again, per road kilometers for Central is $7,147. For North is $8,952. And this is, sorry, from the 2019 financial information return. South is $12,205. This is the percentages of the capital assets net book value, which obviously are how we deliver services to the residents. And then this is our debt levels as of 2019. So I'll just give that a minute to sink in.
So who's writing the letter to the editor? Just joking.
Well, I'm presenting the information, the facts as I can determine them, Madam Mayor. But I thought this one was quite interesting. Just, again, how close we are to each other.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's good to see that.
And the thing is too, we have 38 highway, which the North doesn't. South certainly has 38 highway, but that's a much more costly maintenance highway, just in daily operations.
Yes. Yep. So I just thought I would show that to council. I thought it was interesting information.
Very interesting. Thanks,
Michael.
Yes.
Michael, you know what would be interesting if you ever keep up with this, actually putting in differences in assessment, because I mean, the thing is, and I think this has been covered. We have more of a permanent year-round population to serve, like South, but we don't have the industrial and commercial assessment like they do. So, you know, we're in this situation where we're sort of a mix between South and Central and South and North, but we're dealing with some disadvantages. So we have a lot of we have a higher percentage of people who are here year round using our services, but we don't have a large population like South, and we don't have the assessment base they have. And it would be nice if people would take that into account, because you're right. The arguments are always apples and oranges, and we should be comparing numbers to numbers. And that's why I appreciate when you give us the numbers and say it's so many dollars per 100,000 in assessment, because that's breaking it down to a level that you can compare across the board. So I have to say thank you for that.
Through your worship to Councillor Cameron, again, thank you for your thoughts. I've just made a note on my other tab because the other tab goes through a lot more things. I just kind of picked out the high ones, although the one that I did miss was reserves. So I did have that somewhere. We have half as much reserve, or 25%, sorry. Yeah, so North Frontenac has about 9.6 million in reserves. We have, as of 2019, we had 4.9, and South had 13.6. So we have a lot lower reserves as well. So yeah, just another piece of information. But I've added the assessment on there because yes, that is a good indicator as well. The number of households. Yes. So anyways, I'll add that certainly. And I've got numbers going back to 2014 on this, and it's a spreadsheet that I'll be updating every year.
Okay, what's our next move with the budget? Where did we leave off?
I thought maybe, Madam Mayor, we'd just start from the top and scroll down.
Okay.
So we've got general government here first, which we have an increase of 70,700 on our revenue. Most of that coming from Ontario unconditional grants. And you can see that our interest revenues, we would have budgeted 78, for example, on current interest. We only billed 46 because we gave residents relief during the first periods of COVID for about 3-4 months, FYI, or as a reminder. So sorry, you normally ask if there's any questions before we leave that page.
Oh, okay. Are there any questions? I can only see a few of you, so speak up.
So Michael, Bill here, through you, Madam Mayor, when you're showing the revenue, this is outside of taxation, am I correct?
Correct, or other revenue sources.
Right.
Okay, let's move on then.
I think I already, sorry, Madam Mayor.
That's okay, I just couldn't hear you.
Oh, I was trying to think of what to say. There's, we already made comments on salary and CPP, taxes and that benefit. I don't know if I made a comment on conventions. Obviously, like training, we reduced it by half. And the wonderful thing about this software is that I can reduce it on a one-time basis if it's not something that I expect to occur regularly. So we've reduced that, I should say, to half of what it was last year, because I think we're expecting all conferences to be virtual again.
Any questions on this section? Okay, don't hear any, Michael, so go ahead.
Okay, we'll just keep going here. Okay, so I have to remind myself here, when I'm speaking, I can't easily look up what the other ones, explanations for council. Just scroll that up so you guys can look.
Would it be easier to go by page numbers?
Yeah, we can. We're on page 3.
Do people have their pages in front of them or on their other computers? So page 3, starting at corporate service expenses. Are there any questions in any of those lines?
Madam.
Go ahead.
Go back up to revenue. I'm getting an echo here. Michael, what is other revenue administration 50,000?
I was going to go there, Councillor McDonald, through you, Madam Mayor. I just didn't want to interrupt, Madam Mayor. So the first $50,000 here is the Safe Restart funding that came in related to COVID. And the second $50,000 here is a really ballpark estimate dollar amount to put in the budget for the Municipal Modernization Fund Phase 2 that we're applying for. So we received the report for Phase 1. Phase 2 is for the implementation more so of that, and I really don't know what dollar amount to put in, but I wanted to put something in, so I put 50,000.
Okay.
Okay, anything under expenses on page 3? We'll go to page 4.
Madam Mayor, if I can just back up for a second on page 3, just in case anybody sees it later, under employer benefits, you'll see that the actual came in at $215,000. The difference is related to the timing of when I got my employee future liability year-end entry in. It's just an accrual on the balance sheet. And so I got, in case it looks like it's out of whack, like more than out of whack. And it's just a timing thing. Again, it's accrual on the balance sheet.
Okay. Okay, page 4.
So we have put in here,
Kicked out.
sorry, Tom.
Sorry, Michael, I just got kicked out. I'll just catch up with you guys here.
Okay, so
Go ahead.
on here, we have 20,000 put in for accessibility. I don't believe, Cindy, we quite know exactly what we're doing yet. There was a couple quotes that we received. There's a couple programs that we're looking at, but I believe, yeah, Cindy took a report to council recently there. So that's what that's in there for. And so I'm
Michael,
also,
just a quick question.
Yep.
Sorry, when you say accessibility, are we talking physical accessibility as in just a reconstruction that has to be done, or are we talking website accessibility?
through your worship to
So I
Councillor
guess
Cameron.
virtual.
Go ahead.
Sorry, through your worship to Councillor Cameron, thank you for the question. It is related to website, to documents, for training for staff. So not a physical building accessibility.
Okay.
Through you, Madam Mayor, to Michael, you
Yes.
have here tax sale expenses 60,000, budgeted 40,000 last year, but only spent 9,000 to date. Do you expect that we'll have a lot of tax sales that will have expenses associated with?
Through your worship to Councillor Gowdy, thank you. That's where I was going next. The 20,000 is related to a relisting of a tax sale and determining expenses there. So that is an estimate there. Last year, obviously, in terms of the actuals, we didn't process any tax sales, and I'm still at this moment still planning to proceed forward in May with sending new tax sales. So I do expect that dollar amount to increase a fair bit. I'm just going down to get comparators previous years. So we had 24,000 in 2017, 56 in 2018, and 34 in 2019. So that's why I didn't touch the number, because I do think it will be up there, and especially with not processing any last year, it probably could be more.
Okay.
Obviously, we want to be lenient with people in the current conditions as well.
And we still try to work out payment as best we can, right?
Most definitely.
Yes. Okay, page 5. Is there anything else on page 4? Okay, page 5. Good old policing.
So at the top of page 5, there's miscellaneous expenses here, which is related to 10,000 for a joint insurance RFP with the Frontenacs. So it's, sorry, 80,000 right now. It was 61 last year. There's also 20,000 for radon installation, and then the offsetting 50,000 expense for the Municipal Modernization Fund grant Phase 2 implementation.
Through you, Madam Mayor, to Michael, that radon thing, is that a one-time charge?
That's my anticipation, through your worship to Councillor McDonald.
But I think it's one time for 1 or 2 buildings, is it not?
Maybe Andy can pipe in, but I thought it was this is $20,000 for the corporate services building installation. I'm not sure of any ongoing operating costs related to it.
The only operating cost is hydro, and it's minimal. The radon installation's complete for the office. It has made quite a difference. We are running a second test at the medical center just to see what kind of numbers we get there.
Thank you, Andy.
Okay, so just keep going. Anything else on
Okay.
that page?
Michael, what you're showing in here under policing here, police revenue, you got 24,000 there. It says revenue number 1, police other. What is that? What is that? It's on line 49,998 there under that account.
Through your worship to Councillor Dewey, maybe Cindy can pipe in and remind me exactly what that is, or I'll go look it up here. But this is the total expense we're going to joint in on with the Frontenacs, and the 24,000 is what we're billing to South, North, and the islands.
That's correct, Michael. That's the community safety and well-being plan we've contracted out, and all Frontenacs are sharing a quarter share of the cost.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, that's correct. That's what I was going to say too. Yeah.
Through you, Madam Mayor, to Michael. Michael, do we get any money transferred from provincial offenses at all?
There, through your worship to Councillor McDonald, there are a couple credits that come in for court costs, but I don't believe we get anything for provincial offenses, but there are a couple minuscule credits that come through that are barely worth mentioning.
I thought that all went to county.
I was going to say, it goes through the county, the provincial offenses.
Yeah.
That's correct, but do they not forward anything down to, or do they just reduce it off or the requisition from the townships?
Yeah, I think it's adjusted in the levy.
Okay, thank you.
What, true, Michael?
Yeah, that's
I
correct.
believe so.
Yeah,
Thank you,
that's
Kathleen.
correct, Madam Mayor.
All right, page 6.
Moving on to page 7.
I don't hear anything on page 6. Page 7.
So this is where the library question was, through you, Madam Mayor. The library on Mountain Grove Road, we're putting in $1,500 on that one because you have the library on Mill Road also. So was this not something we were going to look at, getting rid of that building because of the cost? To Andy, I guess.
Yeah, and I think Andy's going to be doing a report. I'll let him finish that up, but he'll be doing a report in regards to all our buildings.
So maybe I'll take this second to remind council that there is public sector accounting board. I can't think of the number right now, but asset retirement obligations. So for any buildings that have asbestos in them, any retirement costs for it will have to have a number put on our balance sheet as an accrual. And certainly selfishly, from my perspective, that's one building I'd like to see gone.
Okay.
We also did reduce lottery license revenue, again, just COVID wise. By law enforcement revenue, this 5,000 has been sitting in there since Jeremy was here and we've never received anything. So we pulled it out. On to page 8.
Page 8.
So the generator is in here, but it's still offset. I'd like the Tom rims and the budget book and the internal controls. Those are all offset by money coming from reserves. The admin vehicle as well. Obviously, we didn't purchase it this year. There wasn't as much need for it.
I had a question on the generator there at 40,000 or 42,500, and you have it in here as, I thought I read somewhere you were actually including the medical center with this operation. Is that correct?
Through your worship to Councillor McDonald, I don't believe that cost was for the medical center as well. I believe it was just for this building, but I will look that up in the meantime.
I think it's just the office because
Mhm.
the medical center, we had decided that for the internal part of the medical center, it was up to the tenants to look after their own generation, but we would be responsible for heat, water, and hydro. As far as dealing with what size of a generator we would need.
Yeah, and as far as I can tell, it is just for this building.
The question I have then, through you, Madam Mayor, to Michael or to Andy or whatever, we've got this price in here, 42.5, and we're anticipating making some changes. If we purchase this, would this accommodate us into the future? And I guess the second part of my question would be is, how many times over the last 10 years would we have used this particular piece of equipment?
Well, from Kathy has been here a little bit longer than me, but I believe that we've used it at least 3 or 4 times. We've had the tractor come in and then everybody's down, and not that there isn't paper that you can file and whatnot, but certainly it can have disastrous consequences when the power goes out and maybe you forgot to save something for the last 4 hours worth of work, which shouldn't happen. But
No,
this generator was in the budget a couple of years ago, but based on not sure where we were going to go, we've sort of kept it in the budget.
That's correct, Michael. We've used it a few times and they've had to bring the tractor up for us.
And I think we need that because of I think the township office in case of emergency would be the comm center for our area, would it not?
It was the last time.
Yeah, so I think that's why I think you get that back up there.
Correct. Michael, also with the notes, we'll just mention to council in regards to where we've got the admin office, where we've got an addition, we can take that note out of addition, the 600,000 that's there.
Right.
Just make the note as a renovation, because as council knows, there will be no addition built onto the building at this time because of the cost. So what this is, we put some kind of money in to do renovations within our own building.
And it is, we do have in relation to this $100,000 grant application in, and the other 500,000 would be coming from reserves.
Correct.
Through you, Madam Mayor, question in regards to what Kathy just said. If we were to do some reshuffling of placement of offices and move some people out of that building, would we really need the full 600,000?
Depends on, through you, Madam Mayor, to Councillor Gowdy. It depends on, the thing is too, is that we have always made it very efficient for our taxpayers. That's why you have all the managers in this building, and not because somebody might come here and they may want to see the public works. They're not here. We have to send them somewhere else. Same with building. We have to send them somewhere else. So I think it's been a service that we have, and council have certainly at the time, thought it was very important to keep all of our staff, especially all the managers and whatever we have, in one building for access for our ratepayers and our taxpayers, so that they do one-stop shopping. So that way they don't have to be shuffling to this building and shuffling to this building. So I mean, that was the explanation that was done for a number of years, and that is the reason why. So we were just going to do some internal renovations to renovate what we've got and move forward from there.
And if I can add to that, Kathy, it's certainly nice to have all the managers here. It's easier to get together. You can do satellite offices, obviously, everybody's working from home and whatnot. You do lose that connectivity. That's the one good thing we have as a small municipality versus larger ones. It's just easier to get us all together, make a decision, be efficient, move forward, versus trying to connect with everybody in like a fire was at the fire hall. It certainly can be done, but it's not as beneficial, I don't believe.
No, and it's not as efficient for the staff. That's correct.
Well, I just think that one thing we have learned through COVID is that the world is going more virtual, and more of these satellite offices, whether it's in a fire hall or it's in your home. And I just thought it was something that we could use and learn from and develop further on.
I think there will be some of that happening, but I still think there's some space in the basement of the building that we could be utilizing. And 500,000 used to get you a whole building. Now it doesn't seem to get you very much.
Mhm.
The cost of materials is just huge. But we're certainly not going to be building the Taj Mahal. Okay, let's keep going. Transfers, capital transfers. To and from corporate, 434,970.
Yes, as a net.
So that's brought in as part of the loan
Well, that's what
or
I've just
straight
sort of,
transfer?
well, there's transfer to reserves, which would be for the same things like council costs. Sorry, I'm trying to bring that up, Madam Mayor, in my mind. We would have done the surplus from 2019 would have gone into reserves, as well as I believe we pulled the money out from corporate services for the public works loan for the road pulverization versus doing the loan that we were going to.
Okay, any questions on the rest of that page? Page 9. No questions or comments on that page? Nothing to point out, Michael?
Not that I can think of. Sorry, I was making a note initially and just catching up here.
Okay. Page 10. Maybe along with that sound system for the hall, we can get some sort of a video recorder for videotaping the council meetings when we can actually get together.
I'll make a note.
Michael, under the civic addressing there, it's count number 70017, general civic addressing, 19,000. Is this to catch up with all of the land properties that have no civic addressing? Is that what
This
that's
is for, sorry, Councillor Dewey, it's through your worship to Councillor Dewey. This is for next gen position at the county that would be shared amongst the lower municipalities. I don't know where it's at in the approval process, but it is put into this budget because I'm expecting that position would probably be filled.
Okay.
That's correct, Michael. And this person is going to be helping us move forward with the civic addressing, and some of it's to deal with our island as well as water access 911.
Okay, so fire we've done. Where do we go next?
Well, that's what I was just looking at. I don't believe we went through cemeteries.
No, we did not, Michael.
Okay, thank you.
Page is that?
If this will let me do that without posting the picture on here, I can tell you hopefully.
I'm taking a look, Michael. How are you? Cemeteries, page 18. Starts
Thank
on
you.
page 18 at the bottom.
Yeah. There we go.
Okay. So we're starting with Parham. Revenue. Expenses, page 19. How are the sales
changes.
for the new, what do you call it? Columbarium?
Oh, that would be on when we get to OSO. We'll see that, Madam Mayor,
Oh.
unless you want me to jump to it now.
No, that's okay. We'll
Okay.
see it when we get there.
So there were no changes on page 19, so I just kept scrolling to page 20.
Okay.
No, I don't think there's much change, Michael.
No, I mean, there's a little reduction here, but Mountain Grove expense old from 2,000 to 500.
Mhm.
21.
The bottom of page 20. I'm just.
Okay.
And page 21, there are no changes as well. Page 22, there's minimal.
No, and it's so that, Madam Mayor, because there is, when you're talking about the cemetery niche sales,
Yes,
we did not budget anything for it, but we did sell, looks like we sold one in 2020 of $1,130. Is that correct, Michael?
Well, I'm trying to find it, Kathy, to be honest. Oh, there, yeah, I went right by it. Niche sales. Let me go to diamond here.
But we didn't put anything in for,
Yeah,
we only sold one.
yes, we
lot
only,
sales for $1,130.
Yeah.
yes,
Yes,
we only,
yes, you're right, sorry.
yeah,
right,
we
the
only
actuals are
sold,
right there.
we only sold one, but we didn't put any money in the budget for another.
So we could, or we could take another year at 0 and see what it comes in at to get a better estimate for the next year.
Yeah, that might be an idea, because you've got 3,000 in anyway for the other cemetery plots.
Right.
need
And
to
we
start
only sold,
advertising.
yeah, and we only sold one, or last it was only $275 in 2020. So I think that might be okay. And we could split it
What do
between the
we,
two.
what kind of money are we collecting from the, all the small units we have at Oconto? How much does it cost to buy one of those?
Isn't it $1,100-$1,200, something like that? I don't have the fees right in front of me.
So,
I think that sounds about right, Kathy.
Okay.
and so do we not anticipate we'll be selling some of those compartments?
Well, we hope so. We've only sold one so far.
It's revenue, so if you underestimate the revenue, it's not that big of a deal, right? And
I mean,
it's
we could
not-
certainly, sorry.
Not going to be huge sales.
No.
Could also be a function of awareness. There could be people that don't know that that's an option available to them, so they don't ask.
I was kind of kidding when I said advertising, but I think, we need to let people know that it's available and what the costs are.
Well, I know that when people do call in regards to purchasing a cemetery plot, Donna does mention to them as well about the niches, in the columbarium as well.
Okay.
Are we planning, through you, Madam Mayor, to whoever, are we planning on giving that option at most of the cemeteries in the township?
Well, we did not put any money in the budget this year to have another columbarium. I think we did speak about starting off with the one in Oconto to see how it, how it went. And then we were going to put money in the budget to go one to all the other cemeteries as well as we go. So there is that option. If you wish, we can always do one for, say, for instance, in Parham.
But the question, I guess, remains is that what kind of inventory do we have still available at the other sites, which would probably be better off to use that up before you build another one of them.
Yeah, that's correct. We can certainly look at that, see what the inventory of the plots are.
Let's move on to page 22. Again, just pretty standard stuff.
Yes.
Okay. Page 23. Okay. Total cemetery 129,353. And last year we budgeted 160 and we spent 89,191. Any questions on cemeteries before we leave it? Okay, hearing none. The heliport we did last time, didn't we?
We did. So we jumped right down to planning, I believe. I was just looking at the summary there.
Okay.
So that would be page, what
40,
am I on?
40,
Yeah, there's
Yeah.
37. Let me just look.
43, is it, or 4?
I think I was on wrong one, sorry.
Yes, page 43. Halfway down.
Yeah,
Okay,
okay,
planning.
sorry.
Right here.
There we go.
Got it, Michael. There you go.
Yeah, and I'm just writing a note because I know that in here I can pin the different sections like I do in the budget that I send out to council. And I'm sorry that I didn't do that because I could have went over here and said, oh, planning, boom, take me right to it. So I apologize for the delay.
That's okay. Apology accepted. Page
Thank you.
44.
Just
So-
before you go on the planning, I had one question on the contracts. It's down near the bottom, number 70017 contracts, 91,000. We have, well, last year we budgeted 56. We spent 56 and now we're bumping that up by 34 grand. What's
Yes.
that?
So through
Well,
your
the
worship to
increase.
council.
Sorry,
Yeah,
Michael.
so, no, it's okay. Go ahead, Kathy.
What it is now is that we are at one point, we used to, if we were doing an official plan amendment or an zone, like there were certain things under the planning with the county that we did not have to pay for. They charged us for all the other individual applications, say for minor variances, severances, that's the planning fees. That is no longer relevant. Basically our agreement has changed and now we are paying full 100% for the planning fees. So in other words, we do not have sort of like a break, I'll say, if there's any applications that the municipality wishes to go forth, we're paying full dollars now.
Was part of the phase in over, I think it was 5 years, was it?
Correct.
4 years? Yeah.
Yes, it was 5 years phase in.
Yeah, so the county was
Just
paying
a-
for part of that for us.
Just a quick question. This might be more of a guesstimate than an answer that I'm looking for, but I'm sure that a lot of this is driven by the activities from the Committee of Adjustment where we're doing all of these different zoning one-offs. Is there any feeling that once we have the new official plan in and we've cleaned up a lot of stuff that not necessarily going to see a reduction going forward, but maybe a more stabilized number going forward?
Through your worship.
Sorry,
Go ahead,
Michael.
That's okay.
Go ahead.
You can probably answer better than I can, but through your worship to Councillor Cameron, I think that's a fair assessment. I think the best that we could hope for is a 33% sharing, or if the islands are in there as well. Yeah, it certainly could level off-ish.
And there are revenues to offset this only they're broken down in the next page, right?
Correct.
You want to go to page 44 now?
Done.
It does show revenues under minor variances and severances.
There are some, yes, and they're very hard to predict, as Kathy has told me over the years too, and I've seen.
Yes, they are, Michael, for sure.
For sure. Okay, any questions on page 44? Okay, 45. Still planning.
It is still playing. The only thing, we did double the legal fee road closings because we spent actuals 8,500, and I think the speculation is that there's going to be more, but Cindy can correct me if I'm wrong.
Good to get them cleaned up. Okay, page 46.
No changes?
And 47.
And
So
just a little
total
increase
planning
in,
services, 144 versus 135 budgeted last year. Actuals was 79,212. Okay. Any questions or comments on planning? Okay, hearing none. What have we not done?
I think that's everything, Madam Mayor. I was just
Okay.
trying to bring up the final result here. We didn't make any other adjustments today. But let me rerun this report just in case to make sure. I believe that it's going to come out to us being at that 1.51% that we talked about earlier. Yeah, so the report, FMW is still spending at the same net municipal levy of 9,030,748.
So that basically puts us in a good position then for council at this point.
Okay, so our total budget is $9,148,758. And that's compared to last year's budget of $8,896,524. So an
Just a
increase-
correction, Madam Mayor, on the first
Yeah.
number, it's 9,030,748. And I have it up on screen. At least you should be able to see it.
Oh, yes, I see it there now. 748. Okay. Okay. Good job, staff. That was,
Good.
you folks did a lot of hard work ahead of time, which I think makes our job much easier. Questions or
Well, thank
comments? Anyone?
No, I'd like to just thank the staff as well, the managers. We've worked hard, and when they know when I start harping that we have to reduce, that they certainly pulled their stuff together, and we sort of looked at the projects and where we could move and where we could reduce. So I want to thank the staff for doing all that work.
Yes, and obviously I'm going to pipe in here as well and thank all the managers, because it used to be Michael putting everything together in Excel, and all the managers go in and it's another software that I've added to their plate. So I certainly appreciate that, as well as council's time going through this, because they're definitely good discussions that we had throughout it, but they're not easy discussions. So thank you.
Excellent. Okay.
Tyson here. Michael, did you want to briefly explain the Public Works, what we've done there?
Well, we sort of did a little bit. You mean in terms of the projects that we moved, Tyson?
Yeah.
We already did.
Yeah, so I can do that. It's a matter of bringing it over, just in case there's anything else that we need to do on that. And this is, again, one thing I love about this software is just being able to drill in, drill out, answer questions a little bit easier, even though it may not seem that way sometimes. So obviously, these are the three projects that we moved: the single service treatment, Crow Lake Road and Zealand, over to 2022 right now.
We are applying for grants once we get the engineering done on the Westport Road.
We will be applying, yeah.
Okay.
Thank you, Michael.
You're welcome.
Okay.
Madam Mayor,
Yes.
it's Victor here. I just have sort of like a more generalized question about our budgeting process. We recently received a presentation regarding our asset management plan. And the recommendation there was that we have to put in like an additional 1.5% over the next 10 years to bring us up to a level status. Does this budget do that, or are we continuing to slide backwards?
Michael.
Through your worship to Councillor, Hayes, I'm just trying to think on my head and then answer as well. And who am I addressing? So yes, in a sense it does, because we are increasing our capital expenditures. The problem is we're also increasing our debt, which I've already expressed concerns over the next 3 years. So kind of living within our means over the next 3 years really is going to be vital. Any assessment increases will help. So I think that we are. Certainly that asset management plan did not take into account 2020. We did have the Sharp Lake Village grant, which in a sense, in my mind, approximately saved us about $150,000 each year on that contribution that we need to put in. So yes, we are. Just unfortunately, we have to take out a loan right now to do that. So this is where the true net increase of tax dollars really is where we're needing to impact that. And I think this year, quite appropriately, we're not doing that as much as maybe we could, but I think it needs to be done this year.
Thank you, Michael.
Madam
Thank you for the question.
Madam Mayor, to Michael, we're at 1.5% increase for the Central Frontenac thing. What I want to do is I want to see the number when we throw in the county and the education and conservation authorities. But looking forward, I have a question. Generally speaking, the increase in assessment doesn't show up on the tax roll for what, about a year and a half, 2 years after the building permits have been issued. And given that we had $112,000 worth of increased assessment monies, what does it look for in another year or two? Will that increase be greater? Because we certainly set a record for building permits last year. That's a big question.
Through your worship to Councillor McDonald, the first part is the county and education are down here and they are in that 0.3%, which does contribute down to here in the $4 that people will see. So that is all, that information is already in there. To answer your other question, 112, Andy might be able to better answer what construction is going to go on. My personal thoughts are that with the price of lumber, people may not build as much. They may, I hope, I guess, in a sense that people will appreciate the beauty of our area just like I do and why we moved back, and they will come and build regardless of the price. But I think that's hard to determine. For new assessment, I believe that we will be getting into a phased-in assessment again, whether it be based on 2020 year or 2021 or phased in over 3 or 4 years. We will have increased assessment over the next number of years to go off of.
Okay, that's really what my question was. Thank you.
You're welcome, Councillor McDonald.
Your worship, I just had a quick question for Michael. It's Tom. Michael, I may have been off when this thing may have kicked out when you were talking about it, but I didn't see anything in there for the Eastern Ontario Trails. We normally contribute 10,000. Is that, where is that?
Through your worship, Councillor Cameron, that would be under grants. See if I can get this account.
I'm sorry, I missed it then.
Yeah, well, I don't think we specifically touched on it. It's right here on page 30. So we didn't make any changes there. The 35.5 is still there. So that means the 10,000 for the Eastern Ontario Trails Alliance would still be in there. It's a good question. Thank you.
Okay, good. I mean, we've applied for grants at the EOTA, but there's constantly criticism of the condition of the trail. So that's something that going forward, we may want to take a look at if we don't get grants. Well, anyway, the 10,000 is fine for now.
Well, through your worship, we've just kept it the same as it is. I would suspect, Kathy, that there should be a request coming through from the Eastern Trails Alliance if they wanted it to be more.
That's correct, and we haven't heard anything.
Okay.
Okay. In there as well.
Pardon, Madam Mayor?
Parham Fair.
Yeah, so we have the Senate. I can move it over.
Pull it up a little bit.
Well, here we go. So again, this is the beauty. I've got the line as a total of 35.5, and then we can put all this detail in there. There's Santa Claus Parade, the Parham Fair, a Northern Rural Youth Program with the Frontenac Community Services, EOTA, SALT, and I'm rhyming down here, but so there's nothing in for SALT, Canada Day, Trail Day, and CF Railway Heritage Society.
Yeah, we have $1,000, don't we, Michael, in for SALT? Oh, no, sorry, not this year.
That's what I just had to go by and cross and double check, but no, not right now.
Madam Mayor, may I speak to the SALT grant?
Go ahead.
Yeah, I'm on the SALT committee, and we received a reasonable sized grant recently. And because we've gone to virtual meetings, we are not asking for any grants from the townships at this time.
Perfect.
So through Madam Mayor to Councillor Hayes, I'm assuming if there was any request for a grant in the future that you would then send us to something, because right now I don't have anything on a go forward basis.
That is correct. So we have received this grant, and it is sufficient for our needs at the moment. Once we go through that grant, and if we feel that we need to get more revenue, then we will approach the townships with a request.
Thank you.
Should the Henderson Trail be in that list?
sorry, Madam Mayor, the Henderson Trail or the Kennebec Trails, you mean?
Kennebec Trail, yeah.
Okay, so that is in there. Let me think
I just
of,
didn't
I
see it
think
in that list, but
Okay, 160.
Big number in there, Madam Mayor, 35,000.
Okay, so that's.
Yeah, you might have put it under recreation, Michael.
No, well, right here, I believe it's the 10, it's under Center for Recreation Expense. Right now in the tree, I have it under there, but let me just make sure. Yeah, 1657 is Kennebec Trails, and we have 2,800 in, and that is for the self-propelled mower, 800, 4 picnic tables, 1,000, and porta potty outhouse, 1,000.
okay.
Through you, Madam Mayor.
Oh, sorry, go ahead, Nikki.
Are we then taking on the liability of making sure the porta potties washed and cleaned to COVID standards?
I think we can allocate the money, and until the group can tell us how it's going to be operated, they may choose not to put a porta potty this year. That was my impression when they made the presentation.
Okay.
Right.
Madam Mayor,
Mayor,
Tyson wants to,
Yeah.
Tyson has a question.
Go ahead, Tyson.
Through you, Madam Mayor, to the councilors involved with the Waste and Recycling Amnesty Committee. Just something I thought of as we were talking, as Victor was talking. Should we set aside, I hate to add stuff at this point, but should we set aside a small fund for that committee?
To do what with?
It's something that was brought up in our committee meeting. I believe it was one of the councilors. So I'm not exactly sure what for. I just kind of wanted to ask Victor and Tom as a bit of a reminder.
Okay.
I don't know what I'm trying to remember now what we,
If it's 1,000 or so, there's probably room in the budget, eh, Michael?
Yes, he usually does. He usually will have some room in the budget for any of those
Yes.
offset that we need to, so for sure.
Yes, there would, Madam Mayor. Sorry, I was trying to find my mute button to unmute.
So unless it was over, what, 5,000? We should be able to cover it?
We should. It doesn't hurt to have it in the budget, though.
Yeah.
Through you, Madam Mayor, I don't see any, to Michael, I don't see any costs, anything over $1,000. It's just something that was brought up that I figured I'd bring forward.
Okay. So we're not going to change the number for $1,000 right now. Okay. Anything else? We are at 2:21. If there's nothing else, I have a final motion to read.
Okay, before we do the final motion, Madam Mayor, so if council is okay with the budget now the way it is, we can expect, that's what I think Michael would certainly like council to accept this budget at our council meeting on the 9th of March. And then that way then it gives things to get going in regards to projects, or if there's any projects, as well as, what else do you have, Michael? Usually you try to finalize things for budget. So you'd like to, oh yeah, with tax bills and stuff like that.
Yes, I would say bring it forward at the next meeting.
Yes,
Madam Mayor, Bill here. I just want to get a clarification, Michael. Go back and tell me what the tax bill is going to be with all of the agencies included in. What are we going to say to the media if they're listening? This is our total tax increase.
Well, I believe the paper's going to want to pick up on this increase of 134,224, 1.51 levy percentage increase. But I would always really like them to focus on what matters most to me, which is what hits my pocketbook, which is $4 for every 100,000.
Including the county and the education, conservation, everything in.
Correct. Yeah, so just to show you, we've got 100,000 in assessment here. The tax rate that's here is coming from the proposed draft 2021 rate here. And then that is multiplied to equal 1281, which is difference to last year. And I didn't change these years, sorry, I'm just seeing there now, a difference of $4. And that is what people are seeing on every 100,000.
Okay, I can live with that. I just want to, I don't want any, us to say this is Central Frontenac, but we haven't added in the county or the education and it comes up to 3% or something. This is our final number?
Yes,
Okay.
and it is, and it's nice to see the whole picture, but again, we can't control the county and education. So if we were trying to pass this in the fall, I wouldn't be able to give you that. I would only be able to give you with last year's numbers.
Right,
for
I
the county
understand
and
that,
education.
but I can live with this. I'm okay.
Oh, good. I don't want you going anywhere.
Okay, does anybody else have a comment or question?
Through you, Madam Mayor, I have one question of clarity. So
Go ahead.
when we were talking about each of the other townships having set their rate at 1.7, 1.5, and 3.08, that was their tax levy, but it did not include a loan. We're setting ours at 1.5, but it also includes a loan, correct?
Yes.
That's,
I don't know what the other municipalities have done as far as loans or using reserves or any of that.
but this is what I gave you is exactly like ours is, and like Michael said, it's 1.51%. That's tax levy. So those amounts that I mentioned to council at that they had already done North Frontenac was at 1.71%. These are tax levy. 2.1 was the county, 1.5 is South Frontenac. So those are actual tax levies and ours is 1.51.
Good. Good.
I think it's good.
I
Very good.
think part of what Nikki was asking is if the numbers from the other municipality includes loans or reserves that they've used. Is
I
that
would
right?
expect, yes, I would expect it is, because I do know that South Frontenac has within that number, they're using $10 million from their reserves for capital.
Yes, that's what I had heard too. Thank you.
Yes, that's
And I
correct.
believe North was pulling a bunch from reserves as well. I don't have 100% accuracy, but that's my impression.
Yes, that's correct, Michael. I don't know what they didn't mention, but did South Frontenac did say that they were pulling that amount out of reserves for their capital.
Ouch.
Well, through you, Madam Mayor, I think I can leave my phone hooked up over the next couple months if this in actual fact is the number. I'm very proud of it. And I think staff have done a wonderful job and I'll certainly support it.
Absolutely.
Okay, yes, excellent job. Okay, I am going to read the adjournment motion. Moved by Bill, seconded by Nikki, that bylaw 2021-18 being a bylaw to confirm the proceedings of the special council meeting held March 2nd, 2021, be read a first, second, and third time and finally passed the second day of March 2021, and further that this meeting be adjourned until March the 9th, 2021, said meeting to be held virtually. Any discussion? All those in favor? Is there anyone voting no, since I can't see you all? Motion's carried. Again, staff, thank you all very much for all the hard work you've done to bring this budget to us, and congratulations, you did a good job.
Yes, good job.
Kudos.
Council.
Thank you very much, council.
Thank you.
Council.
I'm inviting everybody to the wood pile now.
Bye, Bill.
Sorry, I've got
Bye.
plans, Bill.
You start
Bill.
without me.
Is that where you keep your bottle of rum?